All right, I have returned, and I don't know if you're still around, Lumo. If any of what I said got cut off there, and I realized as I was speaking that ads had started rolling, but yeah, questions are always welcome. Uh, I mean, if I didn't want to, talk with chat, why would I be streaming at all? Uh, but anyway, we're back, and yeah, what was I doing? I think we were adding some sound effect stuff. This is why I have a list. This is why I have a list of things. So we added sound and music effects buses to the audio bus. Have a games roadmap and his dream game as a goal. Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's basically it, right? So, um, I think this is stream day 24 of learning Godot. So I do one of these streams a week. So I have for the like 2.5 years Sunday mornings been doing coding streams, right? So I do like play games in the evenings, some days of the week, throughout the week. But Sunday morning doing coding, and so earlier this year, so about 24 weeks ago at this point, I started this, and I think within the first couple of streams, we kind of identified that, yeah, well, I knew I wanted to start with Pong. That's kind of like that's where you start, right? So, um, in fact, the first version of that, I did a Pong game in C with for X Windows, like X11, with Xlib, uh, more than 20 years ago, let's say. So I knew I wanted to learn Godot. I figured that would be a good place to start, and then pretty quickly identified like I wanted to do a breakout Minesweeper kind of platformer sort of evolution. I wasn't sure if the game that I wanted to make would actually have any 3D in it, but I kind of thought about that, and I think we are going to. I wouldn't call myself an artist, but um, I'm envisioning this as a game that I want to make that will be something that I will be trying to do the art for, and I feel like for part. So the idea of the game is there's going to be. Where do I even want to start? So the core concept of the game is you start as this character who has been at the start of the game you're laid off, so you're unemployed. You have some initial like the game is. Can you tell I've not practiced an explanation of what this game is? The dream game, as you put it. But the idea is that you quickly encounter this what the game is going to describe as an AI core, and this is kind of the concept art for it. It's a thing you can put in your pocket and carry around. That is some high tech stuff. The backstory of this world that the game is set in is one which AI is banned, and it is a world like ours, but kind of you imagine a a world in which technology is settled but slightly regressed, and uh, the main concept of the game is the idea. It's kind of like uh, a game where you as a character are not playing the RPG. The RPG, like the thing that is leveling up and is developing, is this AI core that you turn into a fully fledged AI, and you have a bunch of different choices in the game, and I'm imagining a game that is very dialogue heavy, lots of conversation with lots of NPCs, secrets and discovery and plots, kind of a noir style setting and city, kind of that noir cyberpunk sort of feel. Um, that I think this art is probably not going to be. I think this is too cutesy for the style of the art for like, but there will be sort of like a 2D map, world map, and then you will navigate through the world and you will have different places you can go to, and those will be more 3D kind of isometric sort of scenes where your character can walk around and interact with people, and then again, very dialogue heavy. There will be mini games kind of conceptualized down here, kind of hacking, security kind of mini games that I haven't fully fleshed out yet. So I have a bunch of lore and a bunch of kind of ideas for the main concepts of the game, but still a lot to figure out in terms of like how the mini games would actually work. How does like I haven't like potentially I have multiple endings for the game, like where it would end, but I haven't figured out key characters in the game or progression or those sorts of things. That was a long. I don't know if you're still around, honestly, but that is kind of the goal. But coming into this with very little experience in doing game dev, I figured I could have some practice projects that would give me some successes, some quick wins, and so all of these projects are on my GitHub. They're not all pinned, but like the current one is Godot Tower Defense. But of my 104 repositories of various things, can we filter by probably GDScript? So these are, I'm just using GDScript. I know there's also like you could do C#. I have been keeping my eye on maybe doing Rust, since that has been the thing I've been doing a lot of coding in prior to the current set of game dev streams. But yeah, here's like Pong, Breakout, Minesweeper. We made a template repo as well, and our platformer game was the last one, and here's Tower Defense. And so these are all AGPL licensed repos, because that's what kind of my default is for my projects. All right. Anyway, I need to talk more about kind of the end goals more. So thanks for asking, because it's gonna motivate me to like figure some more of these things out. But for now, on with the game. So we added music and sound effects to audio buses. We need to add a sound effect to the attack class, right? So the idea here is that we want to be able to, when we hit a zombie, it makes a sound. That's basically it. But not, and this is why this needs to live in the attack class, is because depending on who is doing the hitting, is it the player, is it the turrets or another thing that we place, there might be different sound. There will be different sound effects. We don't want them all to sound the same. So how do we start? I think we'll go into the attack class and we're going to add a new export. And do I want to do like an export group here? Yeah, I think so. So do export group. It'll be like damage settings, and then export group, effects, and then we're not going to do that. We're going to do export var hit sound. No, sure. Is audio stream the thing I want to use? That's the base class. The other kinds of things extend, right? So it could be a WAV or Ogorbis or whatever. So I think that's what we want. And then when we perform the attack, right? So if the thing has health and can take damage. So here's a point of consideration, right? So we have we have a attack class and node, and we have a health class and node. We might eventually want to make it so that things, when they take damage, also have a sound effect. If we do that, we can hook that onto by doing that inside of the health component. But I think for this, when we do an attack, we will thinking about the logic here, right? So, and then ignore the to do. We always set the cooldown if an attack happens. But why would we do that if it's an invalid target? Like, what does that mean? What is the effect of that? So let's check something really quick. So if we run the game, now that we have the ability to get feedback with the change in the cursor, so we can actually see that there's a cooldown visually, let's try something. If I click, okay, so that doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. If I place an obstacle and I click it, okay, that doesn't change the cursor either. So I wonder, so there must be logic that is preventing us from triggering the perform attack if the thing doesn't have health. Let's what calls perform attack? Okay, so in the main script, we can perform attack. Our shooting obstacles, so this is like our turret, can perform an attack. The enemy can perform an attack. How long do I usually stream? I usually stream for 3 hours. So I usually start like, so I'm US Pacific time, so West Coast time. I usually start the Sunday morning streams at about 8:30 Pacific until about 11:30 because then I start getting hungry around then. But 3 hours is kind of my limit because mealtime for Sundays, and then when I can stream in the evenings doing like playing games, I usually need to turn in for bed to get up and work in the morning. So usually about 3 hours for streams. That may change a little bit here in I guess we're still like 2 months out. I usually take December off from work, and so I'm hoping to stream more and maybe longer. I don't know. We'll see how that all works out come December, but that's still a ways away. So the question is, does it make sense? So like nearby obstacle, presumably we're setting nearby obstacle and we're doing a bunch of logic to make sure that it's actually a valid thing to attack. Yeah, find nearest obstacle in range. So this checks to see if it's in the obstacle group and all those things. This one finds nearest enemy in range, which does a scanning for the enemy group. And then here we look, enemy raycast here collides, and I think we probably have a mask to ensure that we're only attacking things. So there's a bunch of stuff in all these places that's doing conditions to make sure that the thing that is being passed to perform attack is a thing that is valid to hit. So why should these things happen only? Also, this is see, the thing is that this is only reachable if neither of these branches are true. There's no reason for this to be here versus here, because if we're here or here, we never get to here. And so this is much more honest, right? Because these conditions are mutually exclusive. Like, um, this set of ifs and else's comprise, this is all the possible combinations. Why December off? My employer closes their offices. Everyone gets Christmas to New Year's off anyway, and so between that and Thanksgiving, it is a very effective use of my paid time off to take the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas off, and gives me a much longer break, right? By leveraging that, and so that, honestly, that's part of why. Also, I live in the Pacific Northwest. It's pretty days are short, and it's just kind of nice to take December off. Even before, I used to work at a startup, and there was no paid. It was unlimited paid time off, in the sense that there was no it was like 5 people. So I would typically I would do very little, to be honest. It would be like, okay, I'm just taking off this couple of weeks, because days are short, it's dark, it's cold, relatively speaking. I mean, it's not like some places in the U.S. in December that are like 20 feet of snow or something, but that's why. Okay, I think this is simpler and better this way. And all those other checks that we do before we call perform attack are basically to ensure that these are all true. But we're just double checking. Honestly, another way we could do this is to take these things and make an assert at the top of the function, to just assert that all these things are true about the target, to be like, it better have these things. Also, yeah, the to do here says consider finding the node using metadata or something else. Like right now, I'm not really happy with how this works, because this basically says you have to have a node called health as a child of the thing that you want to hit, for this to work. And yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe we could use, we could have the node register in the parent metadata or something. I don't know, but that's something to think about. In fact, let me make an issue just to more broadly think about that problem. Finding special behavior nodes, e.g. health register itself in the parent metadata to be found, rather than relying on the node name health. All right, we're up to 20 issues again. Okay, so all of that being said, what I want to do here is I want to play a sound effect when the attack happens. So if hit sound. So do we think this is a good way of doing audio? Probably not. Probably not. Let's see. So I've done sound effect stuff before, but I don't really remember what I did. So let's look at one of my other projects. Where did I do sound effects? Limo says, oh, I've just implemented audio layer in Godot game. It was a good recommendation of having a separate audio manager. Sure. Of you have an auto load class that's play this sound effect. Something like that. Yeah, because the issue that you're gonna have is you have separate manager, which is a singleton. Yep. Was it Minesweeper that I did audio effect? Probably Breakout Clone. I don't know if I did any audio sound effects for Minesweeper, but the Breakout Clone, I'm sure I did. And separate, then a separate one with all the sounds preloaded. Sure. What's the utility, if you will, of having a separate utility with all of the audio preloaded versus just having the audio manager hold the sounds preloaded? Like if they're both singletons structure, I don't know. Well, I didn't make an audio manager here. I have a game manager. Excuse me. Did I do... Let's see. It'll be really easy to tell if I go... Yeah, there's audio. There's a Pong effect. And then... Did we do something... So we have bounce sound. Just kind of hard-coded it. Yeah, so the audio manager is in paths and stuffs. Just checked, I'm calling my util sounds factory. It has 3 dictionaries for music, SFX, and UI sounds. Interesting. So here we just have the bounce sound as a child node, and we play it. I mean, it's fine for this size of game, but yeah, I think something like what you're describing might be better. Audio manager accesses the needed ones. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of like flexibility, I have an example of something even similar but different. Hold on, I don't need that to be running. And I was showing this earlier in the stream, what I ended up doing for... so in the game, we have different types of obstacle. Obstacle is just the general term for things you can put down in the world, right? And right now, they're just walls, but they're different types of walls. This one shoots back, which don't think about too much. But anyway, but what I've done is I have a config folder. Okay, that needs some improvement. I have a config folder. There he goes. That has resource files, and then I have a an obstacle registry, which is a singleton, auto load, and the obstacle registry scans this directory for obstacles, and it reads the resources. And so the resources look like this, where it has like an ID, a name, a description. It has a bunch of data in it that the chat is covering. Hold on one sec. Hide chat for a sec. There you go. So it has all these different properties. Maybe I should move the chat. This kind of awkward. Well, anyway, it's fine. So like you could do something like that where you have like a sound effects registry, and then have an audio manager. Like the thing is though, is if you have the, I don't know. I don't know if you have 2 singletons that are about the same purpose, which is managing audio, it doesn't feel like it would be one thing if I made a generic like registry class and then instantiated it in multiple ways with different parameters, which I could do that for that. But I don't know. That I'm starting to like this description of what we could do here feels like a little more than what I need right now. And it feels like something where honestly I might, it doesn't feel like it's going to cost a lot more to build something more complicated when I need something more complicated. The purpose of making Sounds Factory a singleton is preload, but you're right, that could be offloaded to Audio Manager as well. Sure. Yeah, I think I like the idea of having the Audio Manager, and we have a place for these things. So here's the existing manager. So we have Stats Manager, Obstacle Registry, Logger, Game Manager, Currency Manager, and Utilities. So I'm gonna do what you've described here, sort of, and we're gonna add a new thing. Call it Audio Manager. All right. So this is an auto load. So one of the things I learned or relearned, reminded, don't rely on me though. I'm also a beginner in Godot. It's fine. The thing is that I think the proof is in the pudding, right? So we're gonna try to do things. We're gonna see what works, see what doesn't, figure it out. I think there are opportunities to do in this conversation that we're having of thinking about these things, but to some extent you just got to do them. But what I was going to say is a thing that I tried to do the last time I made a auto load is try to give it a name like this. It doesn't like that. Yeah, so anyway, so we are going to do something here. What are we gonna do? We are going to have a sound effects dictionary. We don't have music tracks yet. We can add that. Yeah, the good thing about this is managers are going to be copy pasted to other games, so you don't have to start from scratch with new projects. Yes. And in fact, I have a template repo that I chose not to use for this project because this project is the first one that I've done where I have 3D stuff. And I just wanted to I wanted to focus on the things I needed to figure out first, which is basically navigation region pathing stuff has been the big learning opportunity with this project. 3D programming is killing you. Yeah. It adds some complications, definitely. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get around to doing any Blender today. I did a little bit last week, fumbled it, but I will definitely come back to doing more Blender. We have lots to do with 3D modeling and texturing and stuff. So can we? What sound effect did we need? We just needed a player attack hit. Excuse me. And the file doesn't exist yet. Is that where I want to put the file? So I have a structure, which is assets, audio. Do I want to have all of the audio together and then do SFX under it? I think so. I think that's fine. I may regret it later, and then we'll find a WAV file. All right, so can we do an enum of is this complaining? Yeah, just because the preload file doesn't exist. So we can have the keys of the dictionary be an enum, right? And I don't suppose. Yeah, that's not a thing, is it? Is there a way to type the contents of the dictionary? Make an empty dictionary and populate it on ready? Sure. Could do that. Wait, is it square brackets? Yeah. You also have an enum? Hey, great minds think alike. Music tracks, stir music main theme. So apparently the key for the dictionary can be in enum directly. At least it's not complaining about it. You consulted with Claude. I mean, although I lost my the name here. Player attack kit is what I wanted, or what I was happy with. Play sound. If effect in there, then we construct an audio stream player? Is that a thing we should do? And play it, and do all that? That doesn't seem right. Also, this is definitely not right. Connect. Yeah. So ignore this warning. Audio stream player, a node for audio playback, plays an audio stream non-positionally. I think for the player attack, it's gonna. I think maybe play sound should take the audio stream player as well. Let's do audio player. Yes. Is this something that we should do? Maybe. Something like this. You said, I have stream players made once as variables, so they're not initialized each time. Sure. What I was thinking though is in a thing we did for, I think it was for the breakout clone, maybe not. For one of them, we did do positional audio, and so I think depending on the sound effect and who's playing it, we may want to have different kinds of audio stream players, which I think all extend this base class. So instead of having that here, you have 3. Instead of having that statically defined, the thing that is invoking play sound will know the appropriate thing and pass it. So that's my thinking right now. So what I'm going to do, let's go find some free audio to use. Where's my browser? Okay, and we were searching art already. Aha. Okay, so in sound effects that are CC0, let's find hit. I mean, honestly, I think I have some downloaded audio assets. Impact. Oh, also, here, hold on, let me turn on desktop audio. Which one was it? It was this one. Huh. I think that's coming through the music channel in OBS. Are you hearing that? Interesting. I think a potential thing we might want to do is actually have one audio effect, but potentially have multiple audio like samples, and then play one of them potentially randomly. Could be fun. Or what's another thing I've seen? Like dynamically changing the pitch of things so that you don't have the same sound every time is a thing that I forget where I saw someone talking about that. Okay, but we could take this. can I even open? Let me save this and open this. Is this openable? Yeah. All right. And then we have some aug. Hey, and it has separate things. Okay, cool. So I think for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just grab the meat. Maybe the second meat one sounded the best. Copy that. And we're gonna drop that into our project. And by that I mean open a file manager. What distro? This is NixOS. Paste clipboard con? Okay, no. Drag and drop. So this is KDE on NixOS. And so I have been on NixOS this time for, it's been like a month or two at this point, because I didn't want to upgrade. I had been on Windows 10 and I wanted to get off the Windows train, is the short of it. And so at some point I will probably, in fact, I will say come December, one of the things I will probably do is I will probably have some like streams that are like OS or like config streams or something, or maybe editing streams, things besides the things I normally stream today, kind of mixing it up, doing some additional coding streams throughout the week, doing more gaming streams. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like or anything like that, but I've been thinking about that sort of thing, because there are some cool things beyond just KDE for like, you know, UI desktop stuff. Anywho, so we made the auto load. Let's add the auto load to the globals. We can go find it in utilities, systems, audio manager. We're going to call it audio manager. We're going to add it. It's going to complain because copy path. There we go. Great. So no more errors there. And we're gonna do audio manager dot play sound. Sort of works, but we're also going to. How is this going to work? Oh, yeah. So we're not going to have the effect. We're gonna do audio manager dot sound effect. Yeah, and we'll just have be the default, and that way I can take that and use that hit sound export there, and then we also want a var for the audio player, like so, because we don't want the audio player to be like, we don't want to change the attack node to have the audio player in the tree. And you say or you can predefine play hit sound in audio manager to randomize hit sounds there. Yeah, that is kind of what I was thinking. So maybe the type here changes from like audio stream to an audio stream array. Can't do that. Let's see how do you express that type? It's like array audio stream. Nested type collections are not supported, sad. It could be array like that. And then it could be 0, or we could var random. Ooh, random pitch. That's the other thing I was thinking about. Random sample index. There we go. So if we had multiple, which we could have multiple if I just go back to the file that I downloaded. Do that all over again. Yeah, it is. It's GitHub Copilot. I'm actually paying them, which, it's been good. I've gotten some good stuff out of it. Also some bad stuff and some really bad stuff. It's AI is a mixed bag, but it's fun. And I drag and drop directly into Notebook app. Doesn't like that. There we go. Okay. And then we go back to the script. And I'm going to read chat here in a second. Finish the thought. There we go. Indentation. Yeah. I tried Copilot, but it drives me crazy in autocomplete form. Yes. I have seen I have seen that. I've in discussing it with other people that I have and working with other people and seeing them use it. There is an option to snooze completions. There's also, you can just simply turn it off, I guess. There's the different, code completions. I can just turn off code completions. Next edit suggestion, I really like, but you have to have this turned on to do. So next edit suggestion is like, if I had a comma here, that, right, it will, or like when I was in here and I converted this list to a checkmark list, it suggests you want to check off these other things. I've broken it. Anyway, sometimes it will. I guess the inconsistency can be an issue as well. Would it work the same in Writer? Need to check. I don't know. I've not used that tool. Really, the only other editor I've used in the last couple of years was we did a stream. It's been more than a year ago now, I think. We did a stream where someone was helping me get NeoVim set up. And we did that for a little bit. I don't know. I used Vim long ago for quite a while, and I probably still have the muscle memory of that. But I don't know with this keyboard whether the Vim key bindings make as much. I mean, some things do, some things don't. But it's a lot of setup to do that, and this works. And anyway, let's continue on. We're trying to get audio effects going. What else do we need? So in Attack, we have this audio stream player. We want to make sure that we have these things. I don't think we need to be like if hit sound. That should be fine. Like we say it has to be a sound effect. But we do want to check that we have audio player, and then we can do audio manager play sound. Sure. Okay, so now what we need to do is in main, we're going to add an audio player. Audio stream player 3D. I guess, or just audio stream player. Non-positionally, I think this is fine. So we'll do this, and then this attack component represents the player attacking. And so we can say, okay, yeah, player attack hit, and then we can assign the audio player to be our audio player. Audio player here should be, we don't need to set stream, but we need to set bus. Bus should be sound effect. So I think a potential way we could expand on the audio manager concept is to have it own, um, like we could register. What could we do? I guess things could register audio players with it and the type. I don't know if that's necessary. Like it feels like we are going to want to have things like enemies that have their own audio stream player, and we'll set the bus there, and then we tell the audio manager use this player to play the effect. Yeah, I think so. I think I don't foresee changing this setup too much. I'm prepared to be wrong. Okay, so we have the audio effect on the attack. We have the attack connected to the audio stream player. We have the audio manager that will actually play the sound effect, and it will pick one of the two effects to play. And that should be it, right? Is there anything in debugger, or is this all on health damage? Expected 2 arguments, but called with 3. Interesting. Okay, so something is calling take damage and not passing the right number of arguments. Yes. This should be damage. Wait, confused. Amount and damage. So just 2 arguments. Okay, well that's fine. Why was that complaining then? Expected 2, but called with 3. Okay. What was calling take damage and passing 3 arguments? Nothing. Okay. Well, anyway, let me clear all of these. And let's go clear all this and play. And do we have sound effects when we hit the zombies? Let me turn on desktop audio because that's probably where the audio will be. You know, add some background music to the game as well. Yes. We did it. All right, yeah. So this is the world. The scale is wrong. This is too big for a first level. Yeah, we are definitely getting both effects. There we go. It's a kind of satisfying sound. Yeah, exactly. Kind of a very meaty kind of thing. So if we wanted to do the other thing where we like tweak the sound pitch, could we do that? And how would we do that? Is that something that we like tweak the audio player? Actually, it might be more effective for me to look at this in Godot because we have the audio player here, right? So we have, oh yeah, pitch scale. Audio's pitch and tempo as a multiplier of the stream sample rate. So we could like tweak that up or down randomly. Probably don't want to mess with the decibels. But yeah, pitch scale could be adjusted to make the sound a little different each time. I think that will be more important when we start, like, you can imagine a level where we have like thousands of zombies, a bunch of turrets, and the turrets are all like hitting the zombies and doing damage. Probably want some more variation than just like a couple of sound files in that sound. Can we, if I could only type audio player dot pitch something, pitch scale. randomize the pitch slightly. So what does this do? Rand F is probably, yeah, between 0 and 1 times 0.2. So we scale down the randomness to be between 0 and 0.2. And we use 0.9 as a base. I wonder what that sounds like. Can we randomize the speed? So the pitch scale is, I think, effectively the speed, right? To change this, the pitch scale is to change the, yeah, as a multiplier of the sample rate. So you get a higher pitch by playing the sound faster, and you get a lower pitch by playing the sound slower. So I think those are one and the same. If I'm understanding the comment right. Okay, so things to do. If I really want to get a sense of how the sound varies, I think what I need to do is I need to tweak some things in our level and on the attack. So we're gonna change the damage cooldown to 0. Hopefully that doesn't break things too much, and we'll go to the level and we'll change our wave to last for 100 seconds and spawn 1,000 enemies. Yeah. So it'll spawn 1 enemy a second over 100 seconds. Well, then it's gonna only spawn 100. But that's fine. I was expecting it to spawn more things. What happened? Oh, because I didn't change enemy counts. That makes sense. I need to change this to like 100. Max enemies is like if you allow overlap, you can have like one wave spawns and then another wave spawns, and then you max enemies is like the maximum number that can spawn across all the waves. Hold on, I'm just gonna wait for them to get to where they're going and hit them there. The T-pose running was not intentional, but funny nonetheless. I feel like the changing the cooldown didn't I change it to 0? Hold on. Did that not work? Damage cooldown 0.0001. Nope, can't be that small. How about there? Okay. Well, it's about that time again. Twitch wants to run ads. And it's been about 3 hours. Okay. I can believe that's 1/10 of a second. Do you hear the difference in the... Is there a difference in pitch? A little? Well, we can go up. We want to change this to maybe... like that. That might be way too much. I have no idea. Or maybe it does nothing at all. I don't know. Like the other thing I could do is I could get rid of the second sample because we're hearing both samples. so it's maybe a little less clear. Oh yeah, I think I hear it. Good thing our everything is immortal, because we're not killing things when they hit 0 right now. I don't know about that second sample. It's a little too firm. But anyway, we can tweak it later. All right. Anyway, this is not the purpose of the game. It's to like click zombies beyond the beginning, because you get currency. Look at all the money we made. I think currency is going to become scrap. Was the brainstorming I did, and we're gonna have scrap that you can earn and XP. But anyway, we're gonna stop here. Let me commit all of this. All right, add audio manager, audio sound effects for player attacks, introduce things, did things, cool. All right, not grab some sound effects, implement audio play. Okay, cool. So we did all the things, so who are we gonna raid today? Is a question. Usually is a likely raid target. Let me see who we have. Typically, I will raid someone that I follow who is doing something similar to what we're doing, which is like game dev. So we'll see. I'm looking on my other screen this time. But I do want to say thanks so much for coming out to the stream. Let's see. I think we had a few lurkers as well. But DJ... if you're still around, thanks for coming by and chatting.
Limotech just followed.
Limotech did the text to speech did a much better job of just immediately getting your name. Thanks so much for the follow and for the chat and the questions. And I swear I'm gonna find someone to raid here really quick if you want to hang around. We can get a raid message going as soon as I figure out who we're raiding.